I've spoken about feudal Japan in my Japanese history explained videos, and spoken about many famous samurai from the time period. However, one that I haven't covered and I thought would go hand in hand with celebrating Black history was the samurai known simply as Yasuke. We don't know much about his existence, despite the fact that he was considered to be a special rarity in Japan, considering the colour of his skin. He stood out amongst the people, and his imposing presence was enough to catch the eye of the great unifier himself, Lord Oda Nobunaga. Yasuke was likely from Portuguese Mozambique, according to historians and contemporaries. However, to prove this is accurate isn't exactly possible, as there doesn't seem to be any written records from the time that detail Yasuke's personal life. Though historically, we know that the first Africans who came to Japan as shipmates or slaves were indeed from Mozambique, so it's possible that this is indeed where he had originated from. Another theory has it that Yasuke was Ethiopian, from the ethnic group Habshi, who occupied areas of India and Pakistan. The Habshi were called Kafre by the Portuguese, meaning well-built and skilled warriors, unlike other areas of Africa in the east who suffered from famine. Given Yasuke's size and frame, this theory might hold some weight. It's also possible Yasuke hailed from South Sudan and was a part of the Dinka, for he was famous for his height, Dinka being some of the tallest people in Africa. If this is the case, then it's likely that Yasuke would have been enslaved in his childhood, given that the grown men of the Dinka drew patterns on their faces. However, there are no accounts of patterns on Yasuke's face as a grown man. He would arrive in Japan in 1579 in the service of the Italian missionary Alessandro Valignano. Whilst with him, his dark skin would cause quite a stir, as the local people would become quite fascinated at the sight of him. In fact, he became so talked about that Lord Nobunaga, the unifier and ruler of Japan, demanded his presence so that he might see the giant black man for himself. Having never really seen a black man before, Nobunaga inspected Yasuke's skin, suspecting it to have been coloured by black ink. Therefore, Nobunaga ordered Yasuke to be stripped and made him scrub his skin with soap and water. Upon realising that his skin was not painted on, Nobunaga also took an interest in him. In fact, according to the Lord Nobunaga Chronicle, it's said that Nobunaga praised Yasuke's strength and even had his nephew give him some money. Yasuke would travel with other Christian missionaries for a while in Japan, before returning to Nobunaga and entering his service as the first and only recorded black retainer. It's likely by this point Yasuke could speak Japanese, or was at least taught to communicate, as a result of Valignano's efforts to ensure his missionaries were effective in talking to the locals about Christianity. It was said that Nobunaga enjoyed talking to him, and would go on to hand Yasuke his own residence, as well as giving him a short katana. He was also assigned the honourable role of weapon bearer. After the Battle of Tenmukazan, where the combined forces of Oda Nobunaga and his right-hand man Tokugawa Ieyasu crushed the final stand of the rival Takeda clan, Yasuke was present and helped inspect the territory of the Takedas. It was here he met Tokugawa Ieyasu, who would go on to describe Yasuke as over 6 feet tall and having skin like charcoal. In June 1582, when Nobunaga was assassinated by Akechi Mitsuhide, one of his own retainers, Yasuke was there at the time and was set to fight against the Akechi forces who had gone about on a rampage. Oda Nobutada, the son of Nobunaga, would attempt to rally forces against Akechi, which Yasuke stood behind. However, Nobutada was also either killed or forced to commit suicide by the Akechi forces. Yasuke was set to fight against the Akechi, even with 2 of the Odas dead, but he was soon captured. He was presented to Akechi Mitsuhide, who turned his nose up at the man, supposedly stating that the black man was an animal, as well as not Japanese, and should therefore not be killed, but simply thrown back into the wild. Some theorise that Yasuke went back to the Christian missionaries and served the rest of his life out with them, but there are no further written accounts of Yasuke in history. What do you think happened to Yasuke? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button. Until the next time, guys.